everyone, I am Tacit, and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 19, week 1, day 2. So today, game plan, of course, main noteworthy thing, we have ourselves the faction event for Amithyrax, brown-green restriction. It's a place that has the really good Gob Truffle guy, this with infinite loop into himself. Aside from that, I actually forgot to claim the campaign thingy yesterday. One thing I also forgot to check, do we actually get cool stats this time? Wow, what's with the campaigns lately? We've been getting a horrible amount of magic. Look at that, only 2? When did we get that 2? Okay, we get the 2 really early at least. But yeah, by the 4th week we have max magic. That's kind of unfortunate. At least we have magic this season, unlike the other season. Really HP heavy season, interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what's been up with the seasons recently. We get like 0 magic, pretty much. Anyways, let's go claim these real quick. Get whatever the first stat was. I just checked all those. I don't even know what it is. I went through all of them and wasn't even paying attention to what the first one was. But it was HP. There we go. Claim our plus 2 HP for the season. Or actually plus 4, I mean. Or plus 5. I will eventually say the right number. But anyways, tribute ready. I'm gonna grab that as well. Alright, so where should we start? Let's not quite do Amithyrax yet, because it's going to take the longest. We are going to be opening vault keys. I think the spread that we're going to do is 60, 60, 60 or so. But whatever we do, this number needs to say 0 by Friday, so whatever we'll do to get that done. I guess we can start with alliances. So the alliance system actually is working exactly correctly right now, which means right now we should have 2 outer, of which we can do 1 of them. We could either do Wild Folk or... we have to do both of them. Wild Folk and Mech. I guess we'll start with Mech since we already have a team built. Oh, we even got double. Ooh, though. It's a 6.5? Wait, how does that work? Oh, no, it's 13 that's getting doubled. Okay. So it should be a 26, actually. Okay, that's not too bad. Unfortunately, we have to deal with Blood Frenzy here. Ooh. We have to do Mirror Match, but we have 50% less stats. That's kind of bad. There's no way around this. All 3 teams... I wonder what the meta is. Remember when we went Bork Wand yesterday? Alright, let me go for the guy that only has 1 Tina 9000. In hopes that it isn't as bad. But yeah, this might be the meta just slightly. Literally all 3 of our battles are the same thing. And the only reason this guy isn't using double Tina 9000 is of course because he doesn't have Tina double of it. But if he did, he would be using it. Anyways, hello everyone! Hope all you guys have been doing well. Hello, Bill Warhammer. Hello, let's see, why did that change that? There we go. Hello, Sonny. Hello, Nightmare. Hello, Outlander. Hello, Mark. Hello, Chad. Hello, Nightmare. Hello, Sonny. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Chad. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. Should I make a full mana first? Oh, but that's scary if we miss. It won't miss, right? It missed. It did the thing that it wasn't supposed to do. Do we have alignment? No. Do we just go for it? I guess we just go for it. We have 1 turn on him advantage. Nice. Tina didn't really do anything. It should be okay. As long as this Tina doesn't do anything too scary here. Oh, well, that's bad. I just remembered, though, we do have infinite tries on this. So we technically don't have to go... Well, why'd I do that? I could have taken Free Skull. So we don't have to try to brute force a win here. I'm tempted to, though. No, we really shouldn't. That thing is too much armor. Anyways. Yeah, we have infinite tries, so it doesn't matter if we lose. Let's see. We have a choice of Bork Wand, double Tina 9000, Wand, triple Tina 9000, or Bork Wand, Tina 9000. Oddly enough, triple Tina is actually weaker. So we're going to go for this one. And surprisingly, this is somehow not as strong. There's actually no need to run a 3rd Tina. I guess with the half mana start, it's not that bad. But I do feel like Bork helps you more than a 3rd Tina on this team. Just because it gets you going quicker, which is really important. This thing keeps not getting full mana, which is kind of annoying. Got 1 more big cast and we should be good to go. Alright, how does this keep missing? Please, land. There we go, finally. Alright, that should be matched. Come on, hit high enough. Ah, spell reduction. Spell reduction getting a lot of value there. Ah, there we go. Wow, these things are so tanky. The problem is they have 50% extra stats, so really, really bulky. Yeah, that reminds me, what's our PvP rating at? I want to make sure we don't dip over today. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. We're not going to dip over. If anything, I'll probably need to grind it a little bit later just so we can actually reach the amount we need. Because, of course, for tomorrow night, we'll need 5,700. Yeah, there's our one Valhawk. I guess we'll go take the buff then. Because we do have, actually, I think we have triple buff today if we really want to. I don't think we're going to utilize that, but we could. I know, I'm still not getting any XP for it, so I kind of don't want to be utilizing it. It seems a complete waste. Unless we really need it for our leaderboard this week, but given that's Vault Weekend, I'm probably not even going to bother. And hope that other people also don't. Because obviously, Vault Weekend has priority over slightly more PvP battles. So we probably want to get most of our grind in early on in the week, so I guess it would make sense. Oh, never mind, it is so free. Never mind. Our leaderboard is very, very free. Of course, that could change over time, but as it currently stands, it is very free. Alright, Triple Tina 9000 or a little bit of everything. Honestly, I think Triple Tina 9000 is weaker than throwing all of that up there. Like, having the variety, I do believe, is slightly stronger. Especially when you're not running mech. Why aren't you running mech? The whole point of running this exact team that you're running is to run mech on it. Now I'm even more confused. Like, Tina 9000, 3 of them already doesn't have as much momentum. But the whole reason for running 3 is you run mech with it, so you give all of them 50% mana start. But it didn't run mech, so it's not gaining any benefit from using Triple Tina. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Dragor. Welcome, welcome. Apparently one of the dailies got done. Looked like a soul-related one there. Double Carnex. Oh, gosh. It's really easy to tell the people that don't have a Tina 9000. Yeah, it's actually a pretty needed mythic for the current state of mechs. While mechs aren't horrible, they're really heavily centered around one single troop. Like Bork plus Tina 9000. Like, that's pretty much mech's whole thing. They need, like, one more good troop. Because the combo, of course, is Bork, Heroes, Mech, Tina 9000, and then one other thing. It doesn't really have a good one other thing, which is why you double up on Tina 9000. Yeah, we need a mythic or even just any troop that can fill the second Tina slot. Because right now, it's just stronger to run a second one of it. But that will change in the future. It could take a while. You finally played 3 times Takshaka with about 5,000 event keys. Nice. Your guildies were not so lucky. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Triple Takshaka. It's almost stronger than Tina 9000 itself, just having triple Takshaka. Is amazingly powerful. I know, I didn't get full mana. Are we being destroyed by a Bork? And only a Bork. Nothing else, just a singular Bork. That'll be the thing to kill us. Nice, 26 gold marks. That's not bad at all. Our actual amount is 13, but it was a Blood Frenzied place, so we got double. Okay, we were talking about teams that we're going to run for this. It's either going to be Beatrix build or Wild Queen, Queen of Tanya. I was mentioning earlier, I'm probably going to go down the Beatrix route. Just because it's less volatile. So I'm going to go Beatrix, Beatrix, whatever his name is, King, whatever his name. Yeah, that guy. And I guess I just run Hero with Wand? Probably. Actually, do we have Empower? I could even just run single Beatrix. What do we have for Empower? Do we have Empower that's not horrible? No. Our only Empower is horrible. So yeah, we do have to run Solo Wand. Alright, hero class can be pretty much anything. Ideally half mana start though. Which means I'm probably running Mech, as weird as that may seem. I want this to get rid of Submerge. And for 50% mana start. Doesn't feel like it fits, but it very much does. As we need it for its perks, rather than 50% mana start to Mechs, of course, since there's kind of no Mechs here. Yeah, that should be fine. And we're minusing, what was that, red? Doesn't really matter as long as our other things are plus. The reason we did those two colors for plus is it's the two that it creates. Green and brown. You can also do green and blue. But since we're using wand, a little bit better to get into brown. I'll just do double green. Yeah, this will be a little bit more consistent in running Wild Queen, Wild King. Even though Wild Queen, Wild King is way more damage and probably slightly quicker. This is way safer on average, which I assume is what these teams are. Yeah, Wild Queen, Wild Queen. Are they enough to Wild Kings? I'm kind of surprised. Because I would say in the current state of the game, Wild King is better than Queen, based on where you have to use it. Wild Queen's a lot better in the previous Guild War scoring, but obviously we don't have that anymore. So if you're just running like PvP fights like this, I personally feel like Wild King, like if you had to choose only one, Wild King's way better than Wild King for this game mode. I would love to have a turn. There we go. And that should be the auto win. Let's get Beatrix down a few times. One more will do it. One thing that's great about Beatrix too, as well as Truffle technically. Oh, please don't win off of that. Come on, we're one cast away. But the colors that Beatrix create synergize with Wand's colors because it can sync into green and brown, the elemental star. And of course, Rowan creates green and brown every time it casts. So it actually gives you a higher chance to land with Wand, as more of the board is green, brown, red, blue rather than yellow, purple, skull. Or other things that it can't match with. It basically just makes more of the board matchable with Elemental Star. Which is a nice combo. I personally don't feel like I've used that too much since Wand. The main reason being is Wand already cleanses for you. So it's slightly redundant having Queen Beatrix, but it does have really good ability synergy. And that Beatrix's ability makes it more likely that you'll land Wand's extra turn. Though it does not increase Beatrix's extra turn rate. That's still horrible. But it does increase Wand's extra turn rate. At least if you're going for the Elemental Star one. Hello, Anderson! Welcome, welcome. Is that enough to kill? How's nothing lethal right now? Beatrix is. There we go. The struggle of using true damage with everything else in your team being physical damage. It happens. Alright, Beatrix versus Beatrix, yeah. I'm not too scared of a lower rarity Beatrix. It can still be annoying and do infinite damage, but it probably won't. I'll take that one over. So I keep waiting for the gems to get created. Like, oh, where's our Takshaka mana? I keep waiting for it, like, every single turn. And then realize, oh yeah, it doesn't do that automatically. It's only Takshaka team. It feels weird running no Empower and no Takshaka on a team these days, though. Especially in a mode that doesn't have Auto Enchant or Auto Explode. Because your start is so slow if you have no Empower, no Takshaka, and none of those potion effects that give you like a head start. Every battle like that just feels so glacially slow. It's one of my biggest issues with Underspire right now. Because that happens pretty often in Underspire, where Kingdom has no good Empower or literally no Empower at all. Well, obviously not having access to Takshaka, because only Mrs. Scales does. Hey, there's our 13 gold marks. While also having none of the potion effects. It goes so slow some weeks. Luckily, it shouldn't be that bad this week. We have goblins. You can literally just run the goblin meta. Well, it doesn't have Empower. It has, like, infinite mana once it does get going, so it's not too big a deal. Anyways, oh yeah, I was going to go through a buff. Actually, I should have already, because I already blocked myself out of Valhawks. We could have been earning some. Whoops. Whoops. I should have probably done this first as soon as we got the first Valhawk. Because I forgot, the battles that we're just doing that should get those 39 gold marks, we could have been getting Valhawk chances. Now we still need 2 because I forgot to go cash some in. That's a little Logic Slayer if I didn't already say hi. Welcome, welcome. Anyways, after we go clear out this, guess we'll clear all dailies, then mess with faction and open a billion Vault keys. I'll probably go a little bit longer tonight since that'll probably take a little while. Probably every single stream this week will actually be a little bit longer than normal time. Because the next 3 days, because at the end of every stream we're going to be opening 80 Vault keys or so, or 60 I mean. And then on the weekend, because, well, it's Vault weekend, so obviously we're going to want to grind it out. Yeah, I guess I'll do a midday stream probably this Thursday. I should have time. So maybe we'll do that for Old School RuneScape this Thursday. Because of course Friday, Saturday, Sunday we're grinding good old Gems of War. Most likely off stream for those though. That is something we haven't done for a while though. Do like a 10-hour just Vault grind stream. Could you imagine? I like doing it throughout the day. I don't like doing it like all at once. That's my only big issue with Gems of War at the moment. Is in how the game is currently structured. I'm not a big fan of like just sitting down and playing for like 5+ hours straight. I think the main thing with that is just how many resources we have, more so than anything. That, and they haven't been adding that much more repeatable content. A lot of content they've been adding in the last few years have been stuff that has a daily limit or a weekly limit, or stuff like that. Like even like the Alliance fights that we just did. Like you do it for like 10 minutes in a day and then it's done. You can't just like keep grinding it or anything. There's no additional benefit to it. Oh, which reminds me, I haven't done the Alliance fight today, did I? We did the thing, but I didn't actually do the Alliance fight. Alright, we have yellow, green, or purple. I don't know, what do you guys think? Yellow, green, purple. I'm feeling probably... Actually, I gotta go yellow, don't I? Green and purple is obviously Bog Strider Leprechaun or Thrall Leprechaun. But you know what yellow is. Should we just do yellow? Let's see. That one is 59,000. This one has 81,000. And this one has 60,000. But we do get silver marks, though, however. But yellow is yellow. Oh, this is so free. The problem is we're going to be up against a billion Takshaka teams if I go here. Oh, wait, they're not even Takshaka teams. Ooh. Oh, you know what? I'm doing yellow. I've made up my mind. Yeah, if the battles are going to be this free here, might as well. It feels weird counting an insta-kill team that's actually not bad as a free team, but that's the current state of PvP right now. That a strong team is considered one of our weakest options. And that one's just a weak team. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's using the new Empower Yellow guy into the Infinite Loop Yellow Doom weapon. Based on what they probably have at that level range, it's actually really good. Though this thing has been nerfed into the ground, so it isn't really worth using. The rest of the team works out, though. Especially since it didn't seem to have it as shiny. Like, if you're going to use one of those journey troops, it definitely has to be, like, shiny level 2 before it really starts getting, like, even usable again. After how much they nerfed it. I only have 2 of them at level 2 shininess. I believe I did Egress and, what's the other one? That one Dragon. I forget his name. Oh, so why is this one such a lower rating despite being our highest one? I'll take it, though. I wish they were always in order. It always throws me off, like, our highest battle could end up being weaker than our middle or even first battle. Like, we had a 19, almost 20,000 score battle in the middle, and then all the way to the right we had a 16,000, like 4,000 lower. And while that's not necessarily an indicator of team strength, it is an indicator of how many stats they have. So whenever that number is lower, they generally have less stats. It's an indicator of multiple different factors. But the main thing that really determines is what kind of stats total they have. So if you see one that is thousands lower than another, they're generally going to have about like a dozen or 2 dozen less stats or so. Which can make a pretty big difference. Like we can see it right here, like 14,000 right here. Let's go check. Like his hero is at like 230 durability, which is 220. Oh no, it just disappeared. I'll compare it with this one. Like this Weaver's at like 230 durability. And then this thing is at 290. So there's like a 60 durability difference between these 2 fights. Which is pretty hefty. Yeah, there we go. The 6 fight doesn't even matter. I just like doing it because it feels weird if I don't. Alright, well, since we're doing everything PvP related, there's still one last thing we need to go do. And that is find 2 more Valhawks. Something I should have actually done earlier was take the buff so we could have had a Valhawk chance on the gold mark battles. Because those gold mark battles where you try to cash in and claim those gold marks that we got from Alliance, like for example tomorrow, if you're in Dark Alliance, you'll be able to claim 3 of them. You'll be able to go claim all 3 of the central area. The yellow, the purple, and the green. You'll be able to claim all 3 of those. But while you're claiming those fights do count for Valhawks. The fights that we do for the Alliance itself, like those 6 we just did, those don't count for Valhawk chance. But when you're claiming the gold marks from the previous Alliance battle day, those do. Similar to how when you try getting silver marks, those also count for Valhawk battles. So I generally don't go for silver marks much these days because they're kind of pointless currency until they rework it. Next patch or 2 will be reworking it. They originally said they were going to this patch, but I guess it didn't make the cut. But yeah, they are reworking those pretty soon, definitely by the end of the year. Because right now, after you get all the pets, there's pretty much nothing to use silver marks on. Whereas gold mark has a pretty nice infinite sync. And of course, we don't have the 3rd mark yet. Who knows what that'll be used for. There is a chance it might be able to be used for the new Guardian troops. Like, you know those ones that you fight at the end of those Alliance battles? I sure hope that the player-owned version is way weaker, though. Because that'll be the first tank mythics that aren't actually bad. But the problem with that is they are so annoying to kill. It'll make the average battle take 4 times longer. Which is going to be horrible for the state of PvP if they do that. I really hope they don't. Or if it is, I hope it's like how, Zolgoth was or something, or Catherix. Where technically their version is both weaker and stronger than the, the mode that they're in. Where their ability is stronger, but their traits are weaker. Because they definitely have to do that for those troops. Because their traits are way too tanky. Yeah, the Uber Doomskull one is absolutely broken beyond belief. Because the other ones, they only have good traits. The Uber Doomskull one has good traits and a good ability. But he'll become, like, instantly meta. Which is so bad because he takes forever and a half to kill. Because he has immune to everything and has 75% reduction to all damage. While also dealing absurdly high damage. Not the highest in the game, but relative to how tanky he is, he would be the best tank damage mix. Even a nerfed down version of him would probably still be insane. Like if he only had 50% reduction instead of 75, and if he had impervious instead of the immune to everything trait. Even then, he'd kind of be pretty scary. He'd also still be one of the best tank mythics in the game at that point. Not even accounting for how much damage he has on ability. Alright, that should be everything then. Let me just do one last check. Valhawks, check. PvP points. I need 5,700 tomorrow, but oh well, we can get the rest later. Alliance battles, check. We did it. We cashed ours in. We have 0 left. And we claimed the 2 places for gold marks, and tomorrow we'll have 3. Alright, perfect. Everything with PvP done. We can ignore that for the rest of today. Anyways, next. Guild. Yeah, let's go help our guild with the journey, I guess. Or ward event, whatever you want to call it. Technically it's ward event. I guess we'll claim our things in case we have an upgrade here. And we do not. I need one more tier. For that, let's go over here. So we're currently still using standard Goblin meta. This team has been meta since 2018, 2019. Hasn't really changed. It's actually kind of funny that the overall meta Goblin team hasn't really made much of a difference in recent years. Obviously, since then, we've gotten things like... oh gosh, what's that one guy? That one mythic that creates burning gems and does a billion explodes and resummon. But we've gotten things like him and such, which I guess you can replace out like string filler with if you really want to or something. But honestly, the classic still works out. This isn't like the OG Goblin team of like way back in the day. But this has probably been the longest a Goblin team has ever stood as meta. Which at this point has been about 6 years or so. There's a few other things you can slot in here or there, but it still works out amazingly in this order. And the great part about this team, no mythics, and technically no legends. It does use King Gobtruffle, which is a legend, but he's a faction legend, so that doesn't really count. Faction legends are basically free. Like, these two epics are probably harder to get than getting the single faction legend. Oh yeah, we do need to go get the torches. I'll go do that after I go finish up Watervent, I guess. Yeah, we do have to keep up with torches. As per usual, we'll probably be doing it all on Thursday. Though if we do, we're going to have to do a ton of it on Thursday. Because, of course, I want to do every last torch we have before the weekend. So we don't have to spend as much time on it during Vault Event. So Thursday night stream will actually probably be pretty long. I might even do some of it off stream. Though if I do, I should probably do it off stream tomorrow, not off stream on Thursday. Because we might be streaming midday on Thursday. Which I probably will be. So I'll try to fit it in off stream on Wednesday tomorrow. I even just throw some in on stream tomorrow, though. I do want to finish out all the PvP for the week tomorrow. So that'll be our main priority for tomorrow night's stream. Because generally speaking, before Vault Event weekend, you want to finish every single weekly as far as you possibly can. Which includes things like PvP for gold marks, includes things like the World Event this week, stuff like that. Includes things like Underspire. Well, we'll still have to do some of it this weekend if we finish it as far as we can go. We're in the case of PvP going, you know, all the way. Then we don't have to worry about it as much during the Vault weekend. Which is ideal. I keep forgetting his auto extra turn. I keep, like, hesitating on his ability. Because I'm like, oh, he's probably not going to land extra turn. But then I keep forgetting his auto extra turn. That's kind of the whole gimmick of this team is, you never lose your turn. Of course. Alright, final battle. Which one of these was the worst one again? I keep forgetting. Because I was thinking, I think, the slightly wrong one before. At some point it'll load. Spectral Colossus is the worst one. So that one right over there. Just making sure. And we're out of battles. How are we doing on the guild? Oh, we're kind of middle. Gosh, we have 3 zeros. Oh, look, has a reason. He's on vacation right now. Where's Coopster and Jen? I'll get to it eventually. Not too big a deal. We're doing like bare minimum. We're like dead center in the guild right now. I think I bought a tier 2. I might need to buy tier 3 and do it later. Because we have a little bit less contribution across the guild so far this week. You know what? I'm actually going to do it right now. I think we're going to need it personally. I'll actually buy tier 3 for once. I do sometimes. It really depends how our overall score is. And since we have one person away and some other people doing a little bit less, yeah, we'll throw in a third. Everything beyond third starts to get pretty diminishing return as far as gems spent relative to epic tokens received. So ideally, just everyone in your guild is tier 3 and you get it completed off of that. You can go deeper than that, but everything beyond tier 3 starts to get pretty expensive for the marks. Yeah, you can max buy it. I believe you can get them slightly cheaper off a merchant, but of course you have to actually trigger the merchant a billion times. Whereas the first 3 have really good overall value. But beyond that, it starts to become a little bit worse value than merchant. But of course with merchant you actually have to farm them. You can't just infinitely buy it off a merchant. I didn't even realize we have to face the Grey King this week. That's kind of annoying. Our team is very heavily... Actually, no, it's not. I was going to say it's very heavily green, but we're actually only using double green. I always think of Goblin as the typing of like a billion greens. But a lot of things that are really meta in Goblins don't even utilize green these days. Like Truffle does, of course. If you think of things like Iron Gut or Turnip and stuff like that, like some of the main components of some Goblin teams aren't even green. I think the main reason I generally associate it to green, well, for one, the Kingdom's pretty green-based and everything. But, I think one of the main things that I associate it to with green instead of, like, brown or some other color, because it's pretty green-brown heavy place. But it's because all the OG good Goblin teams were really green-heavy. They were that one brown-purple guy that created a bunch of greens into Goblin, into Boar Rider, into, like, one other option. And it was a very green-heavy team. Whereas a lot of Goblin teams these days are a lot more mixed on color. Goblins are also naturally green colored. True. Also very true. That would also be the association to green. They literally look green. But yeah, the Kingdom is a brown kingdom. A lot of things that are meta in it these days aren't even green. There's a lot of non-green going on with Asian. Also, a lot of the non-goblin troops in the place are brown-oriented rather than green-based. Like Black Beast and I'm trying to think of anything else other than Black Beast. Actually, now that I think about it, isn't Black Beast brown-green? So never mind. It's actually both the two colors. Yeah, Goblin Shaman was the OG really broken Goblin. He had a really funny glitch way back, where you could actually infinitely stack extra turns. Where if you triggered an extra turn off his ability and off the board at the same time, there was a couple-month period where you could stack extra turns. So if in any situation, he was one of the only things in the entire game that could do it. I think actually at the time maybe the only thing. But basically, there was an unintended feature where if you got an extra turn off the board at the same time that you triggered an on-ability extra turn, it would stack you +1 additional extra turns. So you could just keep stacking extra turn into extra turn and have like 10 extra turns queued up. You could literally take 3 pairs off the board and land an extra turn off of them because everything just counted as extra turn. I almost wish such a mechanic existed in the game these days. It could be like an alternative version of Hourglass Gem. It would be a very broken gem type though. Because unlike Hourglass Gem that simply gives you an extra turn that bypasses all non-extra turns, the other mechanic actually let you stack extra turns, meaning you could do a non-extra turn action and still gain an extra turn. Which, most notably, that allowed you to cast troops that have no extra turn chance at all, while still getting extra turn, which is probably the most broken thing that it was able to do. And we actually don't have an alternative to that in the current state of the game. There is no way to give a non-extra turn ability an extra turn, like ones that have literally 0% chance. The closest thing that you could do to that is, no, even that. Yeah, there's currently no way to give it to a troop that has no extra turn potential. Because Hourglass Gems need you to already be destroying gems, and if you're already able to destroy gems, you already have extra turn chance. It might be low, but you have at least some amount of extra turn chance. So yeah, there's currently no way in the current state of the game to give a troop that doesn't have extra turn at all in any way, shape, or form a ability to extra turn. Ability is still technically in the game because the AI keeps getting extra turns from 3 matches. I have not seen that in recent times. I have not seen that in, like, several years. The AI getting extra turn from a 3. Unless it cascades into a 4 times or something. When I said extra turn from a 3 earlier, I mean just, like, taking a 3, nothing happens, and they still extra turn. But that doesn't happen these days. Or it shouldn't be. Alright, Emethrax. Wait, are we done with everything that isn't Emethrax? We go buy torches before I forget. Because I will forget. Probably throw them all this Thursday because we got to throw them before Vault Weekend. Yeah, I think it's just dungeon and never mind. We don't have to do Underspire. Yeah. So all we have to do now is faction and opening 60 full keys. Sounds like a plan. Oh, we hit trap immediately. Lovely. Yeah, it can happen from a cascade. But the mechanic I was talking about in the past was a non-cascade related extra turn. I think the funniest mechanic that has ever existed in this game. Does anyone remember Great Maul Bone Dragon? I think that's the funniest meta to ever exist in the history of Gems of War. I would even say it's stronger than current state of Stellaryx. It was back when Great Maul had a 15% chance to devour per skull. These days it got that trait removed. Actually, the trait got nerfed 3 times. But traits at the time were able to multi-trigger. And Bone Dragon was able to infinitely tier armor and create skulls based on all that armor, basically make an entire board of skulls. And in combination, you could do 1 single Bone Dragon cast and 4 times kill an entire team with Devour. It was very hilariously broken. It's kind of funny because Great Maul's ability was nerfed 4 times, basically. It was nerfed from 15% to 10%, 10% to 5%, and then also moved onto a different troop, Dregor the Dread, or whatever that thing is called. And then was also nerfed again when traits couldn't multi-trigger anymore. So it got nerfed 4 times. It got nerfed so hard it doesn't even have the trait anymore. Though the trait does still exist in the game. Just not on him. Oh, I do have an XP booster I need to go use. I don't know, what do I go use it with? Probably when we do Vault Keys. Or probably pop it when we do the Vault Key will be a good time, because those Vault Key battles go really quick. Whereas, Underspire, I guess early Underspire goes pretty quick. Anyways, it's good to faction. I mean, Underworld, I meant, not Underspire. Alright, let's just grab the team. What are we running? Guards Avatar? Sounds fine to me. I'm trying to think what else we could run. I was going to try to show a different team, but honestly, since Guards Avatar got buffed so recently, I figured we might as well stick with Guards Avatar build. By the time we got a Bone Dragon, it got nerfed. Aww. In the history of this game, the only thing I never really got to try before it got nerfed was Alchemist back when you needed it to actually do battles. Because back in the day, every battle cost a gold. And Alchemist was the only really good way of maintaining your gold at the time. Because it was basically the only on-gold mechanic per cast. But, yeah, not so much these days. Because obviously this being completely removed, and there's like 1.5 billion different ways to get gold. But I actually had every ultra rare in the game before I had Alchemist, which of course is a rare. I got absurdly unlucky on it. And it was like the absolute meta of metas at the time. And by the time I got a copy of it, it was no longer needed to really use Alchemist on every team. You still could for extra gold, but it wasn't like required anymore. Because there were other ways to gain gold by then. Not necessarily via troops, but via just, you know, battles and stuff. I believe that was around the time that Arena came out, too. I believe if you want Arena, it gave enough gold that you could still keep doing Arena. Like if you actually got through all the battles. Which, of course, to this day is still the case. I forget how much gold you get. It's a pretty noteworthy amount. Because obviously there's such better ways of gaining gold. Yeah, don't you gain like 5,000 gold for like an arena run these days or something? I don't remember. But that was like the main mechanic that actually made running, made it so you didn't run out of gold anymore. Back in the day. Yeah. As long as you made it to 3 wins, you got all your gold back. I'm not sure if this was the same gold skill, but I believe it was. But yeah, if you did 3 wins, you got all your gold back. And if you did the full sweep, which I think at the time was like 8 wins or something, because it wasn't the same scaling as this. But basically, if you won the entire arena, you got 4 more gold than how much it costed to do it. So when they ended up doing that update, you no longer need to do Alchemist on your team anymore, because you could just get infinite gold from Arena. Back then, 4,000 gold, or whatever the amount of gold was for how many battles, actually meant something. Nowadays, obviously, that's basically 0 gold in the current state of the game. But way back when, that amount of gold was actually really substantial, and made Alchemist meta basically die because you no longer had to use an Alchemist on every team. Instead, Valkyrie meta came around. Because a few months later, Valkyrie was the only way to realistically gain souls, more souls per battle. So that became very popular for about a year to run Valkyrie on literally every team. Which also probably led to one of the most controversial meta teams, like a year or two later, which was the Justice Valkyrie team. Because it scaled, it's weird because all those Guardian troops had a weird scaling. Like, they all had a normal scaling, but Justice had a weird one because it increased 2 stats instead of 1. And it ended up making Justice very, very strong compared to all of the other Guardian troops. And almost every single team in the game was Valkyrie Justice. I think it was the biggest concentration we've ever... Oh no, I accidentally took it before I took the other battle because of how the coloration is. I haven't done that in a long while. That's not really that big a deal, especially on the first floor, but that's kind of funny. This place is so multicolored that I didn't even see the other colored room in the corner. It's actually not the first time I've done that on this layout. Oh no, have any of you guys done that on this layout? It is so multicolored that I sometimes don't take one of the side rooms because I think it's just like one of the mushrooms. Like, look at how much this purple looks like, that purple right there. Especially with all the dots that they have on them. This is probably by far the most confusing looking faction in the game. Just because the cards look like the mushrooms. And it's so easy just to accidentally skip one. I'm pretty sure that's like the 4th time I've done that in Amethyrex at this point. It's like so similar. Obviously one's a circle and one's a rectangle, but still. Coloration is very similar. And their pattern is also very similar. Yeah, I do hope something happens to the current meta of PvP right now for Gems of War. It's just in a really weird state. Like, obviously, this whole year is kind of dedicated to PvP reworks. But I kind of hope next year... I know it won't be. But I wish next year would be dedicated to overhauling the balance of, like, 80% of the troops in the game. Like, you don't have to make everything viable. But you should make everything have a reason to exist. I feel like we have just way too many just absurdly dead content troops that under zero circumstance ever, under any restriction ever, you would never run. Like not everything has to be like the best option in the world, but they have to at least be like good in a niche situation. Like 3 of these 4 are. Actually, even all 4 technically of these. Like, none of these you would ever use in a team except for maybe Draculus. But, you know, Hellrat or Hellcat underneath its restrictions has a convert into red with some damage poke. Not bad. This thing has transform. More annoying than anything. Not really that good, but, you know, it can tank if you need it as a tank. Flesh Golem, probably the weakest of these, but, you know, it does get to explode a row, so you do get a bit of mana from it. The amount of magic it eliminates is laughable, though. Like, if they were to start reworking, like, nearly every troop in the game, this magic elimination needs to be way upscaled. It needs to be based on, like, half his magic, not just a static 1. And Draculus obviously usable. A little bit less so these days. And it's kind of funny because the, I was mentioning it earlier, the mythic that we're getting at the end of the season is basically a soul gem mechanic of Draculus. It is a very tanky lifesteal troop that gains a ton of souls. That is, well, a lifesteal into super tankiness, which is exactly what Dracula does. It's an in-between of that one 65% score reduction lifesteal troop from Underworld and Dracula's. As the tank ability of that one Underworld troop while having a more similar ability to what Dracula's does. So it doesn't hit all enemies, but it hits 2 enemies really hard. I never did hand out a redeem code yet, did I? Find out at the end of this floor. And then we'll also hand out extra redeem codes based on how we do during Vault. Which might even run a couple extra tonight, we'll see. I say we're at 180, so technically we could run 80 tonight if we wanted to. Not sure if we are going to. Definitely gonna do at least 60. We'll see that by that point. I might go for 80. It's because the next 2 days we're gonna have a lot less time to actually grind out Vault keys. Wednesday, almost the whole time we'll be doing PvP, and Thursday, almost the whole time we'll be doing Underspire. And Faction Event comparatively is quite a bit quicker. So it takes like 20-ish minutes or however long it is, but compared to the other two, that will easily take closer to almost an hour. Did I do all Pure Factions? Pure Faction for what? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we've been done with that for like 5 years, I want to say. We've been done with those for a while. Yeah, we've done every Pure Faction in the game. That's why we don't do the Underworld daily. Which is definitely worth doing. It is actually the most worth doing daily that I don't do. Mostly because once you max out every single faction in the game, there's a lot less need to really bother with it. You still could if you want to, but the need to do so is a lot worse. Also, hello, Analyst. I didn't already say hi, by the way. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I would say doing the 3 Underworld battles each day, or even 2 if you want to do one as the better loot one. Just so you only have to do 2 instead of 3. Doing that daily is really good value. Up to the point of completing out every faction in the game. Hello, yeah! Welcome, welcome. Alright, redeem code time. And then we'll hand out extra if we get anything good from the Vault keys. We'll open in a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna go get you guys the redeem code. If I can dig it up over here. Grab this, grab that, then there, boom, boom, boom. There it goes. Also, I need to go restart the side computer. I forgot to at any point today, and it has been so slow. If you wonder why the stream started like 2 or 3 minutes later today, it was because I think it took me like 10 minutes to change one number on the thumbnail. It took absolutely forever. If it doesn't lag at all, it takes 30 seconds to do so. But it lagged so much, it took 10 minutes. Well, let me take this before I don't take it again. Because that thing blends in so well. We got mail. I assume that's the redeem code. Thank you, whoever just claimed it for us. Oh, thank you, Isabel. Greatly appreciate it. I'm not whoever. I know it's normally you. It's just occasionally it's not. But yeah, like 95% of the time it is you. Takshaka meta hasn't fully emerged on Switch yet because we didn't get to target it. Oh, true. Yeah, because they were trying to catch up the Switch version. So you never actually had a week-long time where you could get it. Actually, oddly enough, PC Mobile, or, you know, every version of Gems of War has not had it pop up in SoulForge yet. So no one's been able to throw 8,000 or 12,000 diamonds on it yet. We have had 0 SoulForge Takshakas. He's available for event keys, though the chance of getting him specifically was too low. Obviously, we had him targetable when the first week he came out, as all mythics are. But he has not come onto SoulForge yet. So anyone hoarding 8 to 12,000 diamonds hasn't had the chance to mass buy him. But that'll probably be in the next month or two. Definitely sometime this summer. So the exact date is completely random, as is randomly chosen every single day, based on the ones that haven't cycled yet. Whenever Isabel's too busy playing Palia, yeah, generally. Though I understand. We'll be that addicted to Brighter Shores in about a month or two whenever it comes out. And I keep saying for a lot of games, like, I'll cover a bunch of stuff for it, and then I never end up doing. I feel like Brighter Shores will be one of them that I do cover, like, 1.5 billion things for. It should be, like, the perfect size game to do so. Like, it's going to be an MMO, but it's not going to be, like, a game-breaking MMO. Like, it's not going to be, like, the next World of Warcraft or something like that, or Final Fantasy. I think it's going to be its own little thing. Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be doing Brighter Shores. Oh, we're going to be doing so much Brighter Shores when it comes out. Like, this will almost look like a Brighter Shores channel by the time we probably get around to it. Obviously, we'll still be doing everything Gems of War related. But yeah, we're going to be playing way too much Brighter Shores when it comes out. Like, a very unhealthy amount. If they have leaderboards, I actually want to go make, like, top 25 or something absurd as well. And just, like, mega grind it. Make multiple accounts and have them all feed one account resources. And or help it with PVM or help it with whatever. Plus we'll have Isabel and stuff or whoever else is playing. But yeah, I'm very interested in it. It's also one of those games that shouldn't really, like, quote-unquote die. Like, you know how, like, something like, let's say New World, it will probably die in, like, the next year or so. Because Amazon will pull the plug because it's just burning money probably at this point. I don't think that will ever happen to Brighter Shores. Because the guy who's making it, he already sold his previous MMO. And basically has infinite money glitch in real life now. So he doesn't need to make any money off this game. It's basically just a passion project. So he's going to keep supporting it. Like, it doesn't really matter what kind of player base it gets. He would still develop the game. Which is probably one of the biggest appeals of the game. Because normally a smaller dev doesn't have that kind of financial power. Like, generally a smaller dev, if the game is not very successful, you know, they can't do as much with it. But this guy has basically infinite money. Not literally. Like, probably like a few $100 million. But, you know, that's a small amount of money. To basically be an indie dev with that kind of budget. Because the team, I believe, is like a single-digit number of people. But it has, like, infinite money to work with. Which is really rare for a game. To have that combination of things. I'm really curious to see how it pans out. I also feel like it's just going to be a lot more of a accessible, modernized RuneScape. Because the two versions of RuneScape, because that's the original game he made, was RuneScape. And obviously we'll be streaming that this Thursday. But both versions of RuneScape kind of have their own issues. The original OG RuneScape, the biggest issue with that is corporate greed. It has microtransactions every second you move. While also having too much content. It has been out for like 20-something years. It came out in, what, 2001? So it has 23 years of content. That is way too much content to throw on a brand new player. So much so that even me, with like a background in RuneScape and everything, if I go into like RuneScape 3, which is like the oldest version of RuneScape, that's like has 23 years of content, I will have no clue what's going on, despite having way too much time in like the actual like normal RuneScape. Yet if I go to like what the modern RuneScape is, I will have not the slightest clue what I'm looking at. And the biggest issue with old school RuneScape is I think they went more down a like PVM and PvP route rather than how the game originally was. Like the game always did have like some amount of PvP, PVM and everything. But I feel like the current state of the game, like you make almost no money or no anything unless you're just focusing on bossing or doing PvP. Like skilling is dead in that game. And that's something that the original creator of the game always actually really liked. Was like, you know, like the more cozier aspects of, you know, just like fishing, wood cutting, you know, all this kind of stuff you'd kind of expect from an RPG. But the current state of old school RuneScape, you can't really do that as much. Like, yes, I'm technically doing it right now, but it's a lot less relevant to do it compared to how overly bloated the drop table is for like every boss in the game. Which kind of invalidates doing everything else. Which Brighter Shores will fix, like, almost every single one of those issues. Because original RuneScape in the early days did. And now his vision won't really be influenced by anyone else, which will be interesting. He's one of the things that led to, like, RuneScape's overall downfall. Was he didn't want to have as much responsibility in the game. Because it was just stressing him out too much. But as he started getting less responsibility, obviously he had less power. And at a certain point, he just like sold all his stock in it and just moved on with his life. It was probably one of his biggest regrets, and it'd be interesting to see how it goes, like a round 2 when he does it. Enter the Sims 4 money cheats. Oh yeah, I still remember that one. I actually always do it for my mom because she likes having like infinite cash. I always use Motherload for her, so that she has infinite cash and not need to worry about it. Yeah, she got really into Sims 4. She doesn't play it these days. But I would say she probably has like 5,000 hours in The Sims 4. Which is probably more time than she has in every game combined. Or, you know, every other game combined. I would definitely try The Sims 5 if it ever came out. I don't understand how they haven't. It's been like, what, a decade? And they still haven't come out with The Sims 5? My biggest concerns with the next Sims game, if it's actually called like Sims 5 or whatever it ends up being, though probably Sims 5, I'm concerned it's just going to be free to play and be absurdly microtransaction heavy. I'd probably still try it even if they did. But I do feel like it will be free to play and run completely live service like. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. But knowing EA's greed, it is not a good thing. I'm still curious what it would be though. Because they can't just keep adding DLC to Sims 4. Like, they're sure gonna try, but they can't just keep doing that forever. If it has always online, it would be bad. Oh no, there's a lot of things you could do with that, though. Like, imagine entire servers where everyone's, like, doing their own sim house. And then you can go there and interact and stuff like that. The way I always thought about it, and I was mentioning it a lot when we were doing Animal Crossing, like, several years ago when it came out in, like, 2020, was imagine if it was, like, more like Animal Crossing. Because I feel like that's kind of the route they're going to go down. Like, almost like a live service of what Animal Crossing New Horizons was like. So you have, like, that real-time element with other people, but also still have that solo experience. and you can kind of mesh the two together very well. Like, I still feel like if we ever get a Sims 5, it'll look somewhat like that. Not to the exact degree, obviously. But it'll look more like that than how Sims 4 is. Over 1,700 worth of DLC for Sims 4? I'm not surprised. They've been adding DLC to that game for an entire decade. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the Sims 4 lifespan, it'll have over $2,000 worth of DLCs. Well, worth. You know what I mean by that. An actual price tag of 2,000 plus by the end of its lifespan. It will happen. All right, let's go open some Vault Keys. I guess, you know what? Let's just open Vault Keys for 15 minutes, and however many we get done is how many we get done. I think we'll do it like that. Because we'll easily get done 60 in that time. Actually, I say that. We might not, now that I think about it. Because we could do, what, 3 minute? 4 minute? I guess it depends. So this battle's going way slower. Yeah, Sims 4 DLC is really insane. Especially when it's just like content packs. Or, you know, stuff like just adds like visual stuff. Like, I can understand like really, really substantial updates to the game being like 20 bucks or so. But some of the things that they sell for like 10, 20, 40 gives you like nothing in return at all. Oh wow, we just got one of the big drops already. Oh, here's redeem code. Let's see how many we get. Josh, maybe we should remove the 300 gem drop as one of the big ones. That's 2 days in a row we've got it. Like, almost back to back. It was the very last drop we got last time. I know, it's rare enough that I think we can still keep it as one. There's only 3 drops we hand out a code for. Oh no, 4 drops. 2 of them are similar. The 300 gem drop, the major pet orb, not the minor one, and the silver and gold glory orbs. So only 4 drops do we actually hand a code out for. And collectively, they're decently rare. Or individually, they're pretty rare, but collectively, they actually do happen decently often. Like almost 1 in every 50 keys, you're probably going to get one of those. Give or take a few. Ah, there's a small pet orb. Not the major one, though. I'll just open a bunch of keys the rest of the stream then. If you guys still have any other questions or anything you want me to talk about, let me know. Make sure to do so. Otherwise, just gotta start shipping through these Vault Keys before it's weekend. So we have a nice solid 0 number for when we count up our Vault Keys. Obviously it's not required, but I like doing that recently. Ever since we zeroed out our Vault Keys after using them all. I kinda like keeping them at 0 going into a Vault event. Just so they're easier to track. Because, of course, whatever our Vault Key number is our actual Vault Key number then. So there's never any confusion as to what it is. The major shiny orb. Pretty much. Oh, so we haven't gotten a single major orb tonight. Kind of surprised. 11 keys, no major. It's actually pretty dry for them with how common they are. They end up actually buffing the orb rate twice for Vault Keys, as far as their frequency. And they're actually pretty common in the current state of the game. I'm not sure their exact odds, because for whatever reason, even though they have the odds for pretty much every single key in this entire game listed, they actually don't have the Vault Key odds listed in the game, which I'm really surprised is not. Because it's literally a key. So under like loot box laws, I feel like in some countries they would have to show it. But because it's like a weird other currency, I guess they don't have to. But I really wish they would. Because I am curious what the actual full breakdown is for Vault Keys these days. Is there the only key in the game that does not actually have the full breakdown showed to the player in-game? Like, people have probably data mined it by now, but there's no in-game way to see it. It's not up on their website either. A shiny orb? Oh, a shiny orb to go make things shiny? Oh gosh, you know how broken that would be? I'm not sure if they would ever add a shiny orb. That would be really strong. Though, I thought they would never do such a thing for elite levels than they did. So who knows? Give enough power creep in like 3 years, they probably won't. We need enough economy power creep. One thing that I still feel like is way too few, that's been out for a while now, are deed books. Deed books, gosh, 6 years now? 7 years? And deed books are still the hardest currency pretty much in the game to get. There are a handful more ways to get it, most notably converting your gold marks these days into deed books, as well as spamming explore, and then converting your gems into deed books, or more so into deeds and then into deed books. But I would still say it is probably the longest running currency that is still way too hard to get relative to what it's used for. When you have to start shining every troop for kingdom upgrades, they might. True. Yeah, I do feel like that will be something included with the next set of kingdom upgrades whenever they do add it. You'll probably need some amount of shiny level 1, 2, and 3 troops. And honestly, that'll probably be the time when we finally start opening vault keys. I mean, shiny keys, I mean. Because right now I'm hoarding them, waiting for legends and mythics to get them. I'm waiting for just more things to be in the drop table, because the longer you wait, the better value they actually are. But yeah, if you start needing them for kingdom upgrades, we might dump a bunch. Oh gosh, we got 300 gem again. Oh, here you guys go. Gosh, should they like boost the drop rate of this thing? This is our third 300 gem drop in 40 keys. These we did on the last key of last video. So that would have been 182. 182, 56, 35. In 35 keys, I've gotten 300 gem drops. That's actually really lucky. It's closer to a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 100. And we've gotten it 3 times in 35. Gonna run out of codes. No, we actually have plenty. Out of the current shiny troops in the game, which one is the best? I'm not sure. Because originally that would have, of course, been the Journey troops. But then they got nerfed into the grounds. And honestly, basically every single shiny troop in the game right now is pretty bad. Because a good majority of them are shiny troops, and the few that aren't are pretty mid-level troops that you're never really using anyways. And then being shinied up a little bit doesn't make them viable. Because almost all of them at this point are just, like, really average troops. Not really good, not really bad. Well, some of them are really bad, but generally they're in that middle ground. And them being shinied up doesn't just magically make them good. They're still kind of mid even when maxed out. And that's the issue with pretty much all shinies right now. Is there are troops that you're barely, if ever, even using. And being fully shiny doesn't just make them become usable. Jeweled Golem, yeah. There's a few that are like that. Actually, in the very first batch, when they just added the patch, that one turtle is pretty good. That one convert to brown one. It actually used to be used before Ogress in Bounty Hunter. So nowadays you just use Ogress, but it's still a good converter. Yeah, Chris Turtle, that's the one. But in the current state of the game, there's not really much of a need to use Chris Turtle. Like, it's not a bad troop, there's just nowhere you really use it. Ogress makes it so you don't need it in Bounty Hunter. And things like Wand, Spork, just the whole state of Mass Destroy has made it so you don't really need it in normal mana accumulation teams. Yeah, I think that's our third code so far to stream, but we'll see if we reach 4. But yeah, Vault Weeks, we hand out a lot of codes. Between opening all the Vault Keys and Vault Week in itself, where we'll hand out probably 2 per day as well. Guaranteed. Because all those Vault Key streams will be a little bit longer. Like 2-3 hours, somewhere around there. Depends how much we want to grind on a given night. And of course, during the day, we'll get all the verses we need. forget how many we're up to right now. I want to say 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I can try to plan when I go on my next trip to make sure it's not during a Vault weekend. The only problem is the exact time I was planning on going is probably during a Vault weekend. Which is not ideal, but... Because I was planning on going, I still haven't finalized everything. Because I mostly just want to wait to the next dentist appointment next Monday and see, you know, what the state of the teeth are. And if everything is finally done on that day, then I'll probably schedule it. Because I don't want to schedule the trip if the dental stuff isn't done yet. And I definitely want to do it before Brighter Shores launches, which could be as early as like mid-July. Though realistically, it's going to be sometime in September or late August. Because they haven't even done a closed beta yet. Yeah, we're gonna have good chompers when we go to the sawmill, I know, right? Honestly, my teeth are still kind of sore, though. To some degree, they almost feel worse than before I got anything done to them. What kind of game is Brighter Shores? MMO. Slightly more on the cozier, more casual side of MMO. At least initially when it launches. But, yeah, it's an MMO. It's a click-based MMO, oddly enough. A genre you don't really see too often. It reminds me a lot of almost like a tabletop game, which is generally a genre I like would never play. But in game form, it works out perfectly fine. You know, like tabletop RPGs where you kind of like move a character across like tiles and stuff like that? It's very reminiscent that kind of art style. But in real time rather than turn-based. Because it does use a grid-based system. So every action you ever do, you're always moving on a grid. But it's a real-time grid-based system. So it's not like a turn-based RPG or even RuneScape, which is technically turn-based. In the sense that it processes an action every 0.6 seconds. But everything in that game is instant. But yeah, it's basically MMO. It'll have all the normal things you would expect. Farming, fishing, foraging, you know, all the kind of normal profession stuff. And of course has a side component of combat. And over time that combat will probably get more and more fleshed out. I'm not sure how big of a role combat would really play initially. That'll be interesting to see. If I had to do a non-MMO comparison, I don't know, is Stardew Valley a good comparison? I wouldn't quite say Stardew Valley. Like, it's a cozy game, but it's not that cozy. Like, you're not running a farm. You're basically a militia for, which I forget the lore. But you're basically a militia at this new port. And you kind of go on your own little adventure thingy. It also has an interesting sense of humor for sure. If it's anything like the humor he had for RuneScape. Yeah, it likely will be a pretty bare bones game, I would assume, initially. But obviously it's going to be fully developed over time. Like, it will be releasing in a functional state, obviously. But I almost feel like that's a good thing for an MMO these days. Just because of how bloated the average MMO is. It's probably the main thing that even keeps me from trying something like World of Warcraft or something similar. Because they have 20 plus years of content and just too much to kind of get into. Maybe something like Gems of War can look like that probably to a newer player. Even though I do feel like Gems of War is really new player friendly. especially for a full free-to-play game. But, you know, Gems of War is 10 years of content in a couple months from now, in November. That's a lot of content to take in for a brand new player, compared to the state of the game when it first launched, which was really bare bones. Like, we didn't even have traits when it first launched. Every troop just had their ability. Have I grabbed Tribute? Yeah, I think so. I can go double check. How many keys are we down to? Alright, 2 more. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, our XP booster. We did exactly 15 minutes. Hey, I was right. I said we would be able to get in all 60-something within that time. And if I would have done one more battle, that would have been exactly 60. Because we technically start at 181. Honestly, I think that's a good number. I think we'll do 60, 60, 60. I think that's a good spread. That might make it so we might have to stream a little bit longer on tomorrow or Thursday, but that's fine. Do we get a special pet? Oh, yes, I do have a special pet to hand out this month. I'll likely be handing out for Father's Day, which I believe is this Friday, right? I mean, not this Friday. I mean, this Sunday, I believe it's this Sunday. But yeah, for Father's Day, we'll be handing out the pet. I don't remember what pet it is, but we do have a pet to hand out. But yeah, we'll be doing it this Sunday, which oddly enough is also Vault Day. We'll be going over all the weekly spoilers that day. We'll be doing Vault event. But yeah, 1 to 2 or 3 codes we hand out that stream will be the pet. Or probably the second code we hand out. Speaking of 2 codes, thank you, Isabel, for claiming those for us. Anyways, guys, I think we'll call it there for now. We will be back tomorrow, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1.5 hours prior to now tomorrow. Game plan for tomorrow will be finish all the PvP for the entire week, so we don't have to do it during Vault weekend. Aside from the dailies, obviously. But, you know, as far as the weekly grind, finish all that tomorrow. And then also keep opening Vault keys. That's the main game plan for tomorrow. Then Thursday we'll be finishing Vault keys and finishing Underspire. Well, not finishing, but, you know, doing a lot of it. And then obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be Vault weekend. And we'll do the Vault grind then. But that's something I want to go check. How many deeds I have? Okay, 12. I want to try having 15 or more by the end of this weekend. I keep saying I want to get this number up, and then by the end of the weekend, it's like barely up. I feel like that number just keeps stagnating. I need that to actually increase. We need to start making milestones. Like, let's go for 15, then go for like 20 surplus, and then keep going until it actually gets like a 50 stack at some point. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful week. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.